Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of Apex at the Lounge. You join us here in our Westfield venue. It's myself, Zach, we've got Wesley and Kamarl once again to talk to you about all things motorsport. And to be fair, lads, I mean, the last couple of weeks in motorsport has been pretty interesting. We've got Formula 1, we've got the IMSA, we've got the Spa 24, so many big races, so many big events that have taken place over the course of the last few days. And all of it, I mean, a very hectic weekend as a motorsport fan. So if you have been able to come down to Drive Lounge and be a part of our watch-alongs, thank you so much for your participation. Hopefully you got on well enough in the sims as well. We took to the virtual Watkins Glen 6 hours ourselves. We'll get onto that in a minute. What I wanted to start today with was what was a very interesting Austrian Grand Prix. Qualifying and the race, both extremely interesting. And I think we knew that the Red Bull Ring was going to be very interesting because of the 3 very long back-to-back straights with how the batteries have been behaving this year. I mean, Wesley, it's been a good weekend.
Yeah, it has. Austria was, the qualifying was obviously, I got a bit heated, come on, when he witnessed most of that. Because I really didn't think George was going to keep that pole. And obviously I have been rooting for Antonelli. I just think like a young guy coming in and
George is number 1
doing really well. Yeah, I think him doing really well is like, that's properly exciting me. But yeah, I mean, apparently a lift is enough, but also you lift, you manage to recharge the battery a little bit more, so it will give you a little bit extra, which is why he managed to keep it, but probably a factor. But yeah, it was an exciting weekend. Like I was jumping around.
So you don't think George should have kept the pole?
Initially, no, but not a double yellow. It doesn't mean you have to abort the lap. He lifted. He apparently did everything that he had to do. So who am I to like complain? But I didn't think initially. I was just like, no, he's not going.
Oh yeah, man, we all did. We had 2 kids in the sim, and they done like half an hour, and then they were waiting to do another half an hour, but they were watching Q3. And he's like, no, wait, is he going to keep it? I'm a Ferrari fan and all that. It's like, I don't know what was going on there, but I mean, to be honest, the FIA needs to sort this out. It doesn't set a good precedent going forward. I mean, single yellow means prepared to change direction. I mean, that corners you're doing 160. There's like if Max was in the middle of the corner, there's no way he's going to be able to change direction. And like Kimi, in my opinion, done the right thing. Even Bono got onto the radio and said yellow. Agreed. Because like Max was off in the wall, so when Charles was on the wall, it was a red flag straight away. So it was a strange one, to be honest.
We've seen like that crash happen literally. Even just before, I mean, not just before it happened, but I was like Max with the number 3. I was like, Daniel, the number 3 is so iconic. Like Daniel, couldn't think about Daniel 2020 when he was in the Renault.
Was it 2020? 2020.
Yeah. And he had the exact same crash that Max had. Imagine if that happened again. Like obviously but like both cars on the wall. That would have been. That would have been really bad.
You're approaching it at, like you say, such a high speed, and you're flicking it in. Like it's not going to go well. With the FIA though, I think they just need to be a bit more. I mean, obviously they're the world motorsport governing body. They do know what they're doing, but I think they do just need to be a bit more consistent with when things get thrown. Right in qualifying especially, it's not like a race. Obviously, you immediately throw a VSC, neutralize everything. It gives you that time. In qualifying, because everything happens so quickly, if a crash like that happens, you just red flag it, surely. F1 is the staple of a weekend, so it's not even like in Formula 2 or Formula 3 where they're having to be conscious of track time. Formula 1 dominates that weekend. You've got the time to red flag it, everyone aborts the laps, and then that's fair. What I think they wanted to avoid was what happened at Monaco, and has been happening at Monaco, where you crash, get a red flag and keep your position. So I think the FIA just needs to be more on the trigger, to be honest with it, because there shouldn't be any area for speculation in that scenario. There shouldn't have to be an argument. And fair enough, George played the game very well. He did his thing. He kept the pole, and that's fair enough. Antonelli did the objectively and probably the moral right thing. But objective and moral don't necessarily get you the position that you want in qualifying. So quite a difficult one.
Maybe they should introduce the rule that IMSA has, where if you cause a red flag or if you you lose your fastest lap.
Even in practice, I think.
I think so. I think you still lose your fastest lap. But I think it's just another factor to think about. Anyway, we'll get onto IMSA. We'll get onto IMSA after. Getting excited. let me chill.
And then the race happened. Probably, I think, the closest race we've had for the best part of the season. An interesting sort of clapback though from George. Like we spoke for quite some time. He started the season strong, and then Antonelli did his Antonelli things. And then the last couple of races, George has sort of turned the tables a little bit, and he's been able to claw back some points. I think I don't know, what implications would that have for the rest of the season now that he's been able to regain some of that momentum, and as well for Antonelli, you know, coming off the back of a 4-race win streak to then DNF in Barcelona heartbreakingly towards the end, and now come back into Austria, and your teammate be quicker than you on raw pace and beat you in the race. Like for Antonelli and for George, and once again that championship dynamic, it shifts again.
I wouldn't go so far yet. Kimi is still finishing the races really strong. Like, I mean, he was the quicker Mercedes. Like, even Max said, like, he was just catching me relentlessly at the end. Also, Mercedes, I don't know if Toto said let's not give Kimi the advantage, but the VSC literally came out like the lap after Kimi pitted, and if Kimi pitted on the next lap, he would have won the race in my opinion. So George still needs to work on that race pace in my opinion. But again, psychologically, where he started the weekend, he was on the back foot a little bit, even in Q1 and Q2, just chipping away at it, and then he does that George thing where Q3 he gets it all together, and then even if Kimi did finish the lap, George probably would have pipped him a little bit, so it definitely swings it towards George a little bit.
Helpful for next week as well at Silverstone, or well, this weekend at Silverstone. George obviously coming in on home soil. He's not won a British Grand Prix yet.
It doesn't treat him well at Silverstone. No.
Not really. But I think it'll be fun. I always think back to, whenever I think Silverstone and F1 nowadays, I just think back to Max and
Lewis.
No, well, no, not even Max and Lewis. Max and Leclerc.
Oh, right.
Yeah, in 2019.
2019, yes.
Every single time, tingles up and down the entire body, man. That battle was so good. And obviously, if we've got Lewis and Charles meeting together on track again, we'll probably get something similar. Although Charles did annoy me a little bit. Oof. He held up Lewis.
Yeah. Oh, how dare he in a race? How dare he defend his position in a race?
But to your teammate when you're about to box, come on. If I did that to you,
one's in the two.
We'd be scrapped.
Like, they're on a different strategy. Lewis is on soft tires.
Like, I think sometimes the planning of that is a little bit like, I'm like.
Yeah, but what team do they race for?
Ferrari. Yeah, but still, like, I mean, you know what? Yeah, end of story. First, yeah, let's move on.
What I was really impressed with the Lewis, you know, we saw 12 months ago where he was like, oh, you know, they should probably just change the driver, like, you know, that's the main problem with the car. And then this weekend, you know, clapping back to Max and saying, well, you go around the outside of a champion.
Such a good battle.
Like, it was such a good battle, but the response to obviously Max saying, oh, it should have been a penalty.
The GP didn't say anything.
So that's when you know he's like Max, like, I'd love to agree with you, so I'm just not going to say anything. But Lewis was like, yeah, you expect to be driven off by a champion. Like, that sort of mentality, clapping back from Lewis. Like, the last couple of years, I'm not going to say he's been a bit submissive, but like, he has been a little bit more withdrawn relative to what we've seen from him. So this year, I think, off the back of Barcelona, he's like, the GOAT is back in that sense.
It was so good.
And again, to have that statement, to say that sort of thing, I think he's in a good space mentally, purely because of, you know, he's taking the fight to Max, and he's saying these comments, he's being so publicly bold about it, which is something that he's not been for quite some time. I mean, Lewis, considering his stature, is relatively humble in terms of his, I guess, his media and his presence, but to have made such a bold statement like that was quite impressive, and as well, the battle itself was pretty legendary.
I can't help but not get like not nervous or like whenever it's Max and Lewis.
Always.
Like, and I was talking to the computer. I was like, yo, Max, like, I've been liking you recently. Do not mess this up. Like, do not mess this up. It was so good.
Yeah. It's just the clash of titans, right? 11 shared world championships, probably 170 odd race wins shared, something like that, something 75, I think. Like a decent percentage of the total Formula One just between those two drivers, going side by side, running each other off the road, and that's something that we've not had in the last couple of years. When we talk about the regulations, for better or for worse, they've given us a fight between Max and Lewis. Like, can we really complain that much?
Yeah. Plus, because DRS is gone, like, the battle's sustained over a few laps. It's not like, DRS, you fly down the inside and then DRS chicken and all that stuff. So it was quite good, especially with the adjustments they made in Miami. But let's move to Charles. Like, this is Lewis's bogey track. Like, this is known. Like, Bottas got more wins, poles. Nico got more wins, poles. Like, this track doesn't suit Lewis's style. And like, Charles was nowhere in the race.
Yeah, it's his biggest points deficit to a teammate since Carlos Sainz in 2023. And Sainz had a really good season in 2023. I think, it's now a 46 point deficit to Lewis. It's like, you are Ferrari's golden boy. You are the next generation, and you're getting beaten by the old generation. So like when we talk about, I mean, your I don't think your controversial opinion is too controversial anymore. To be honest, I think it did sort of rustle up some feathers a little bit, but I think it's coming true. And I rate Charles. I think he's a nice guy. From what we can see of him, of course, you never spoken to him, but he seems like a nice guy. He definitely is talented, absolutely. But is he crumbling a little bit under this pressure, or is he being exposed now? Is it coming to the light that he's maybe not as good as we thought he was?
I just think the marriage cost him like 3/10.
So some relationship weight. He's that wedding cake.
No, I don't know. Like, we know that like Charles has been killing it at that track since 2019.
Poland, it's one of his best tracks. Yeah.
Poland 2019, right? Yeah. Poland 2019. Like he kills it at that track. I don't know, but also I think Lewis has done a lot for Ferrari since he's come in. Like he's come in, he said these things, like you were talking about the brakes, I think last time. Like he's done a lot of different things, and I think even you said this, you're like, Sebastian told Leclerc, don't let Ferrari make the decisions. And Charles has let Ferrari make the decisions, and Lewis has been like, no, we're not doing that. So I think Lewis has been advancing the team, so maybe maybe you're right. Maybe he's realizing maybe he's not number one driver.
Because he's not going to be around forever. He's what, 28, 29 now at least. Like, he's probably got what, 6 more good years in him. Like for an average driver, obviously Leclerc isn't an average driver, but he's got 6, say, prime years left. You can't keep making these excuses. It was the same with like Lando Norris. Like, fair enough, he won the World Championship last year, but it's a case of you are the next generation. You've had your first 2 or 3 years. Now you need to start showing that you're the next generation.
But for me, lap 1, 2, and 3 is just unacceptable for me. Like, he got trigger happy with the battery. Like he just wanted to do everything. First, he wanted to pass George, then went deep, and then wanted to stay ahead of Lewis. You can see him fly by in turn 4. And then on the next lap, what was it, Kimi? When he was battling with Kimi into turn 9, it was like F1 game where he just had 0 battery for the whole straight, and then just got passed. So, his management of the race was just nowhere, to be honest.
And that's going to come out at Silverstone, I think. We were just talking about, how there's not really a heavy braking zone at Silverstone. You've got Village at turn 3, which you're probably approaching and getting stopped to the high, from the highest to the lowest speed. It probably is your heaviest braking zone. Into Brooklands, you've come off the back of a very long straight, but you're carrying the braking into the corner, so you're not actually braking very hard, which means you're not regenning a lot. You've then obviously got Copse, which is probably going to be flat in quali trim. You've then got Maggots Beckett's. You've then got Maggots Beckett's, which obviously off the back of the of the clipping, you're probably going to be flat all the way through there. You've then got the Hanger straight. There we go. I always get the 2 mixed up. And then you've got Stowe, which is a brush on the brakes at best, down to 6th probably. And then Vale, you're not approaching at high enough speed to really regen any battery anyway. So that is going to be a race of management. Absolutely, it's going to be a race of management. And Charles Leclerc probably is going to fall back into the pack. I mean, maybe not to the extent that he falls outside of the top 5, because I'm not really sure as to where McLaren are going to be. They've sort of been a bit of a just there.
You never know what you're going to get with McLaren.
They're just sort of there, aren't they? So for Leclerc, I think Silverstone is a very important round. Silverstone is just a great track and a great spectacle generally. So it's always good to have it on the calendar and stuff. And obviously, the UK motorsport, I think we do it best, personally. I think in terms of an average of all of the circuits and all the racing series we have in the UK.
Doesn't like the UK.
It's, you can grow up, mate. Just get going. I don't even know who you are. The UK is probably, I think, the best in motorsport. However, there are a couple of races, both in Europe, in obviously Spa, the legendary Spa 24 hours, and then obviously the Watkins Glen 6 hours. We took to the virtual Watkins Glen 6 hours. Wesley, do you want to tell us how that went from your side?
Well, why are you saying it like
just to shed some limelight into the events of our car that we shared and I had to finish with.
So I honestly, I think it was going really well. I think I qualified was it 7?
7, yeah.
I think I qualified P7. I think I got up to P5. I'm not gonna lie, the guys in front of me, they were gone. They were so fast.
The BOP really killed us.
Yeah, we committed way too early.
But I think it was still a fun car to drive. Like I enjoyed it.
You're in the Aston, by the way.
It's a bit of a tank, isn't it? But I do like that. Like the way that chicane. Every time I go into it, I'm not even thinking about it because I'm just like, it's fine.
It's
like
it
just does it.
It's just done,
but yeah, anyway, those guys were gone, and then I had a really decent gap to the car behind me, and then did my pit stop. That was all fine. Came out. I was like, okay, cold tires. It's cool. Started getting some crazy screen freezes, and then went into the right-hander and just Nothing. Yeah, the screen froze. Reloaded back in. Ended up like 3 laps down. P20 when we came out. And then handed over the car to Parker.
He smashed it.
Parker did a great job.
He
did a great job. Well done, Parker. And then obviously you did.
Champion.
You did your thing. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you did your thing as well. But yeah, not ideal. I'm definitely like I want more. Like I
you got the taste of it now.
Yeah.
No, Watkins was amazing virtually.
Really fun. Really fun.
I did it both in the GT3 and in the LMP2. I had a similar problem with the LMP2.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't actually my problem. It was the iRacing server, but
was mine the iRacing server?
Potentially was.
We know.
I got onto the last lap in the lead. Fought so hard. I did the last 2 hours of the race. I had 1 incident point to spare. I was on 18 and the next one was on 20. Right, and then LMP2, when I'm having to dart through traffic, and I've got GTPs with me as well. My teammate did not leave me in a very good position. Let's put it that way. I also then had safety cars and things, and I was able to come back through, and I was in a position to win. I had a really good scrap for the win. It was like proper hard, and I was like, okay, I literally cannot touch him in the slightest. And then got onto the last lap, and then just vanished. And then I did my last lap. It was just like, okay, yeah, go do another last lap. And I was like, oh, brilliant. This is, I was like, pretty class. Yeah. So Watkins for us was a little bit of a nightmare, but the pace was fantastic.
Yeah.
So it puts us in good stead heading into Spa, which is the other virtual event that we'll be taking to in a couple of weeks' time. The real one just happened. Spa's looking pretty good in terms of prep. We've got a lot of drivers who are keen to do it, and we're doing a little bit of a twist. We're not doing the traditional iRacing event. We're going to be sort of entered in a league. So we've got the extra dynamic of safety cars and different classes and stuff. And I think that's going to be a very interesting environment for a lot of our drivers to thrive in.
I'm so excited, man. Like, I think I've still got that kind of attention span problems sometimes, like where I'm just like going around. But like I do really like it. When I can see a car in front of me, I kind of have to shut up. Like he's heard it from me a lot, especially yesterday. Like I just end up talking to them. I'm not on the voice chat or anything. I think I'll get banned. But I'm just talking to them. I'm just like, you don't want it, bro. Like I want it more than you. Like this is my position. You can either give it to me, or I'm gonna take it from you. Like I gotta chill. But I do love it. Like I am really enjoying it.
Sprinkle in some profanity.
I can imagine like Isaac Hadjar doing that every lap. You can just see it. Even in practice, he does the hand gestures or he bangs the steering wheel like more than Max. So
Daniel.
He definitely does it as well.
Daniel, man.
When he did the... I saw it in karting. It was at PF. It was a club round. And one of the Rotax 177 guys had like, he was driving, he'd gone like this and like lassoed the guy in front and then like overtook him on the next lap. It was quality.
Absolute legend.
We should start doing
that guy.
I think Spartan now is probably the guy's best chance to really deliver. I think they know that as well. Especially like we say with Parker and everyone, they're so much more driven, so much more committed to putting the prep in, practicing and stuff. And that is absolutely showing when we go out on circuit. We've opted obviously for the Aston Martin again. I think in terms of balance of performance and setup and stuff, it's a car that we're actually quite comfortable in. Around Spa, I think sort of the mixed elements of the circuit, the heavy braking zones, does kind of maybe favour a little bit more of a mid-engine car. We said the Ferrari was probably going to be quite quick, but I think the stability of the Aston is going to be probably our biggest weapon.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And I'm gonna like, it looks scary in the rear view, so hopefully that will like, help me out.
We should paint a shark on the front. Like they did.
But the real Spa, as well. Boost. Boost. It started from the pit lane.
The pit lane,
Unbelievable. Like talk about not giving up. Talking about like wanting more. Like 24 hours is a lot to. I mean, starting from the pit lane is insane, and coming through to like that perseverance. Man, I love that.
I mean, the whole race was about perseverance. There was that. Obviously, the 51 Ferrari AF course car.
Oh yeah.
It had a punch up by itself, Pirelli tires. So I don't know what to say.
But
the first one, it was literally just a denomination. He had to do the whole lap.
Oh really? Where did it go?
Literally out the bus stop.
Oh no way.
Yeah. And he had to do the whole lap, so he lost.
Just put it in reverse.
He lost 2 laps there. Then came back, obviously safety cars, there were some other incidents. Then he was back up to 4th, then up to 3rd, battling with Stoltz in the Mercedes. and then they had an incident in Lecube, and then he got another rear puncture, had to go back around, and then he still managed to get P4.
So that's incredible. That's incredible.
So good.
As a commentator, right, like those are the stories that we love, and endurance racing, don't get me wrong, it's not the most exciting thing to commentate on. I really do enjoy like bike racing, karting, single seaters, stuff like that, because I just think it's really exciting. I'll talk about Spanish F4 in a minute, don't worry. When it comes to endurance racing though, you sort of do settle into a bit of a podcast rhythm with the commentary, and things become a little bit more slow. But you do follow those stories all the way through, and I think it was stories like that are exactly what show value and show what endurance racing is all about. Because not everything at every given point, you're never going to have a perfect 24 hours. Absolutely not. No one is ever going to keep it hooked up. And equally, not even from yourself, but you're also at the mercy of however many, 50x amount of cars are there on the circuit with you. Like something at some point is going to go wrong. Something at some point isn't going to go your way. It is then how you bounce back. And like starting from the pit lane, for example, it's a long pit lane at Spa, so you do obviously lose a lot every single time you have to come in, and starting at the back and seeing the task ahead of you. But knowing you've got a day, how much can you get done in a day to bring it back? And I guess driving into the race with that sort of mentality of you've got a day to sort it out, and they did, right? They go into it now they went into it with less to lose. It takes a bit of a weight off your shoulders. In essence, I think for a 24-hour race, you're probably better off starting from the pit lane than you are pole in some cases.
I kind of know what you mean, but you would rather start from pole.
Obviously you would. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But no.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's like 55 GT cars.
Because it's also, you got to battle with the thing of, I think I would rather start from pole or the pit lane than the middle.
In the middle.
Oh my God,
absolutely.
What happened in the middle in lap 1, didn't it?
That was the start of lap 1 was
GT World Challenge Monza as well.
insane. GT World Challenge Monza.
Sim race's finest. If you want to recreate that, by the way, come on. We do see it quite a lot. But I think GT racing as a whole is looking very, very good.
It's been so good. I've been loving it. Like, don't get me wrong, I did. I watched a tiny little bit before really and truly being introduced to you. Like, I did watch a tiny little bit here and there, but now, like, I've been so on it. Like, the whole weekend, I was like, yo, what a great week of racing we've been having. Like, it's so good. So good.
And then on the other side of the pond, we had the Watkins Glen real life 6 hour. Jack Aitken, obviously, and Jota taking the win in GTPs and stuff. And I don't know, I think I was saying to you before we started, like Jack Aitken, I think, is a driver that really does deserve it. And obviously, teammates with Fred Vesti as well in the Mercedes Academy in that camp. Again, another driver who I think does need to prove himself a little bit and wants to do that. As a team, I think it's been a long time coming for them. So for them to do it at such an iconic circuit, I would say Watkins is probably up there top 3 in the US. And on a weekend that was very attritional, very difficult in terms of the weather and everything. A good turnout for Jack.
Yeah, and then obviously smashing the lap record in qualifying on that first lap.
Insane.
Like commentator called it, no one's going to beat that lap. There was a massive delay because there was some crashes in the support race. So like all the drivers, they got prepared for quali, and they had to sit around for like 3 hours and like twiddling their thumbs. And then once they got in, like he was fully dialed, and he starts the races strong. He goes for it. And he finishes the races as well. He's just doing a mega job, and then obviously with Bamba and Vesti as well, bringing it home. And it wasn't easy. They weren't leading all the time. The BMWs were there.
BMWs.
The Porsches were there, or not. Penske, they had a bit of a shocker. But in general, the Curas as well. Like it wasn't given to them, So they had to really work.
It was a race. Like it was.
Really?
It was a no.
Really?
No. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, in iRacing turn 1 at Glen, like people don't send it. They were sending it.
They were sending it.
You have just prompted me when you said Penske, because DS Penske, Formula E, I like my Formula E. Brands Hatch next year. That is so. I'm so excited. Don't you look? No, I'm not having that.
I think we all know that I don't like Brands Hatch.
Grow up.
Oh, I thought it was a Formula E thing.
Come on.
Oh no.
Anyway, I'm going to talk to you now. I don't even know who this guy is. Brands Formula E, that's class.
It's going to be cool stuff, man. Yeah, definitely. And then they're looking to go like Kota and like bring some proper circuits.
Kota Zandvoort.
That'll be good stuff.
I can't wait.
What is the battery gonna last? Like the?
Mate, I mean, I saw red. Don't diss my Formula E.
I'm sorry, I'm just pulling your leg. No, it'll be cool. I think
not because I'm hired by them.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're branching out. Like I think it's really cool that they're taking it to these like circuits and stuff. Like as much as like I'll laugh and joke about it. Like I do respect it. Yeah.
You don't have to be a fan to respect it. Anyway, come on, Gen 4. Technology degree. A lot of F1 drivers are really interested in Gen 4 as a dynamic, and like Carlos Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg, everyone sort of, I think it was at Monaco, all sort of asking the same questions and stuff. It looks quick. They're still on Hankook road tyres. They've still got they've now got a wet tyre dedicated. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, brilliant! That means they're on slicks.
Yeah, they should do.
Yeah, they should. The cars are bigger. The cars are faster. They're taking so many right steps in the right direction. The cars, I think, Gen 2 was always my favourite looking Formula E car. I think Gen 4's pipped it now. I think it does look really good. It is getting quite big. And it is quite fast. So as good as sort of a Brands Hatch, a Zandvoort, Kota, all those sorts of things are for the sport, and I cannot wait to see how that goes. They are still staying at some circuits like Sanya, which is unbelievably tight. Monaco potentially could be one of those that maybe the dynamic changes a little bit in Formula E as well. But I think that's one of the best things about it, is that unlike Formula 1, Formula E can go to Brands, to Zandvoort, to Grand Prix circuits, but then also go to alleyways in the form of Sanya in some cases, and still do well.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. They're in a nice sweet spot where they can go to like not A-grade FIA licensed tracks, but they can go on iconic circuits in the UK and then also do some street circuits. So it gives the fans like a quite good perspective of the higher levels of motorsport, whereas you would probably normally only see like F4 at those circuits. Yeah,
Brands, I think, well, in terms of World Championship single seat racing, the last time they were there was for Formula 1 back in, God knows, Paul could tell us.
You're fired.
Episode 5 will be someone else. But they still host the GB3 Championship, GB4 Championship to some success. I mean, the GB3 car is unbelievably quick now. The TAS MSV 26, I think it is now. Unbelievably quick cars. But I still think Brands is going to lend itself to be quite a good circuit, particularly I guess for the dynamics of Formula E. I'll ask you a little bit of this question. Maybe you've got an opinion or two about Formula E at Brands. What do you think it's going to look like?
Fun.
Cheers, really.
Lots of fun. I have to jump into, like, we have the Formula E car, we have Brands.
We have an electric single-seater car.
We have an electric single-seater car that I'll have to take around Brands and before I can truly formulate an opinion. But I think that's one of the great things about these things. Like, you've got so many different things that you can actually try. Like, we're sitting here talk about it. We've got the privilege to go in the sim and try it. You guys also to come in, tell us whatever you want, load it up, give it a try. I think it'll be fun. Like I think it'll be fun. Like racing in general is fun. So I'd be very surprised if it didn't give off a very good like battle. Like me and you've had some battles around Brands and whatnot. Like Brands does lead it. Yeah, like Brands leads itself to.
Who even is that?
Brands leads itself to have like good racing, so it should be fun.
Such a good circuit. I mean, obviously it's different, but the BSB finale there at Brands. I don't know if you've ever watched BSB finals. You should. You'd love it.
What is it?
Bikes, British bikes.
Oh yeah, sorry. What?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, of course. What
British bikes.
Yeah, sorry.
Unbelievably good. Brands' circuit is class. One of my favourites. And the racing you get in any car. I mean, Brands objectively is a fairly simplistic circuit. Like you look at it on paper, it's not ridiculously difficult. But I think it's the margin for error and the challenge of each individual corner. Like Brands into Drew's, Graham Hill, Surtees, Hawthorns, Westfields. We got Dingledale, then Sheen then Dingledale, then Sterling's and Clearways. Obviously, the ninth corner. You could recite all the corner names as well.
No, I can't. I looked into the camera. I was like, "What's this guy talking about?"
It's quite refreshing because the mini drivers. No offense to, like I say the corner names are like, what? Which one's that?
You do that to me as well. He does that to me. He's just like, into this one. I'm like, huh? No,
unbelievable. Yeah. It's annoying. But anyway, I think all 9 of those corners are great. Like they challenge different parts of the car, and like again, fair enough. It may be difficult to overtake round, but you can still get those moves done, and we see that in almost any racing series that goes there.
Yeah. Definitely, and like you have to be committed on a single lap, let alone when you're preparing a move. Like I love dummies into turn 1, where you just have it wide and you just send it on the brakes and you keep the trail brake on, and then you get a switch back up to Druids and so on. So it's a good track for racing.
Paddock Hill is sketchy.
Yeah,
like you're on the limit every single time. I'd love to go around it in real life, to be honest. Like Paddock Hill is just, I don't know, just one of the best corners.
Maybe we should take the podcast on the road.
We're going to move on now to our hot takes. Now, I think this was a good little segment that we introduced last time for episode 3. We stirred the pot a little bit. It was quite cool. We have also got a nice little twist. So I did ask a couple of people for theirs, so we can get some of your guys' views and your hot takes and stuff. So definitely, get in contact with us, join our Discord server, and drop in your controversial takes, and so we can scrutinise them when we come to record the podcast. Kamarl, though, you're actually on it. Me and Wesley were slacking. You have got a controversial opinion. Go on.
Yeah, so modern GT3 cars need DRS.
What? Oh, I was not expecting that. Need, not even like a could do with. Need.
Yeah, they did.
Justify. You've got the floor.
Okay, so for example, I was watching the Ferrari, the 51 car was when it was in the lead, it was 6-8 seconds up the road after 30 minutes. And then once it came back through, it just couldn't make any progress. It would be 2 tenths behind coming out of the source, and by the back straight, it was 4 tenths behind. Because they had to lift, they lose so much front aero now.
Yeah, right.
Through Eau Rouge, they're not getting the run.
So there is actually now dirty air in GT3 racing. It's not counteracted by what they get.
It's even worse in the Porsche because the fronts come off the ground.
Right, yeah.
The racing was great, but it was very stagnant overall. It could have been much better. There'll be trains of 6 to 8 cars and nothing really happened.
I see Wesley going.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
But I don't know if that's a factor of the GT World Challenge BOP or what, but it just wasn't great to watch.
I don't disagree. Wow. I don't disagree. Really? I think your point about the Porsche as well, because they're a Formula 1, I don't think needs DRS.
No.
But I think because there are different engine positions and manufacturers and chassis and stuff, it would just level the playing field a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But does that not maybe undermine what GT3 racing is about?
Yeah, it does, because Max does say it's the purest form of racing in that regard. But then because of it, the 2 Porsches, they knocked each other off in the source with 2 hours to go, and that was just pure frustration. He didn't need to do it. He sent it up the inside turn 1, left no space, just because lap after lap he wasn't getting the move. So it would help limit those desperate moves where it kind of ruins someone's race and you get a bit of better side-by-side action.
Wow.
I've got one to caveat that now.
Okay.
So GT World Challenge, and this is one I've literally just thought about whether it's any good. I'm going to say it before I think about it. So obviously you've got bronze, silver, gold, platinum in GT World Challenge and FIA ratings and stuff. Golds and platinums should not have ABS in their GT3 car.
Ooh.
Bronze and silver is fine. Golds and plats should not have ABS.
Yeah.
They have rain ABS. Fine. If the track is declared wet, fine. In dry running, no ABS. No TC maybe as well.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that then just a different class of car though?
It'd be GTE technically, but GTEs I think are more power.
It makes sense because the IMSA they used to have it. It's called GTD Pro, and then there's got to be a difference to distinguish the top guys. That's
because what you get in the end now, right? So you've got James Baldwin, for example, who is a very strong silver, has not really got much of an incentive to go into pro or anything like that. So if you got a strong silver, like they're just going to mix it up with the pros and they're going to go just as quick as them, if not quicker. And there's not really much of a difference to separate them, like you say.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you, I guess, decentivize that even more by maybe introducing the fact that being gold is potentially a bit of a disadvantage in tyres and stuff. But then I think you just change the drive time rules and just say that you need the gold to take more of the drive time of the seat or whatever it is. I think there's a way around it. I think it would just add a bit more of a challenge to the driver ratings outside of, okay, we've got Valentino Rossi, who is actually pretty good. We'll whack him in the car. He'll go quick for a lap or two, or for a stint or two. And then we'll put the slow driver in, meet their drive time requirements and go. I think having a bit more for the faster drivers to think about rather than just, oh yeah, the team's relying on me to get in the car and drive quickly. Because that's all it is right at the moment, is for the golds and the plats. It's just get in the car, do my drive time, drive quickly. I think removing ABS would be quite an interesting shout.
Mad. Yeah, fair enough. Well done, guys.
Thank you. And yours? Moving on to the viewers. So I've got a couple here. I put it out last night. It's not that I've not got anyone that doesn't want to respond to my story. It's fine. I put it up really late last night.
It's just him on the way here thinking.
It's just me all the time. It's my own story.
This is a notes page, mate.
Put it out really late last night. We're filming this quite early in the morning. I have got a couple. One of them I did want to bring up. initially, it's from Riley Davis, who I commentate with on mini bikes. He said the enormous hatred, and this is from a bike fan, by the way, like religious motorbike fan. The enormous hatred towards Lando Norris is purely trend-fueled and unfair.
I agree with that. There's two elements of it. There's parts of it where people, like reporters, will get the headlines. Like Lando does say some strange comments sometimes that doesn't do himself any help.
No.
But in terms of driving and like how he actually is as a person, like it's not justified in terms of what he gets.
He's world champion, regardless of what you can say about it. He won the championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Debunked. Or actually, no, agreed with that one. That's the final verdict. The Lando haters have been debunked. Now, there is another one which I think will be quite interesting, especially with you from a touring car paddock-esque background. Matt Pryor has said, rubbing's racing is an excuse used by drivers who can't overtake properly.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I don't think Tingram would be happy with that one. Yeah, touring cars pretty much is Robin's racing, to be honest. It always has been in the Plato days and stuff. Like last lap, send it up the inside of
Bit of a
Alton.
bonk as well.
I think
objectively, it's true. And this is what I've always said. Motorsport is a non-contact sport. Absolutely, like, by the rules, it's a non-contact sport. However,
touring car driver would disagree with you.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, there's always going to be a bit of contact, and that margin incentivizes the drivers to go for those moves. When you have cars that are overly sensitive, like take Formula 1 back in 2017, right, where you have really sensitive cars, any bit of contact, you knock one plate of the barge board off, and the car's written off, right? When you give them that margin, they're incentivized to go for moves, and that adds the entertainment factor. They're not just sat behind in a train waiting for a mistake or a pit stop or anything like that. Having a little bit of a rub is fine. What I'm not a fan of is the whole race to the apex mentality that we've gotten to, which is just if I get to the corner first, outside line, open the steering up. That's not what I'm a fan of, and I do agree in that sense. But I do think, especially in tin tops, you do have to have a little bit of a margin just to encourage them to go for moves, especially with touring cars. Like otherwise, you're just going to have single file at Alton Park the entire time you're there. Yeah. There's going to be no overtaking. Maybe that's part of the challenge. It incentivizes qualifying, but well, I don't think just because you have a little bit of a rub, you can't overtake properly.
No, I know what you mean. I think it's discipline dependent sometimes as well. Like I mean, as you said, like depending on the year of like F1, 2017, 2018 and whatnot, like you don't really want to be doing that because the most complicated front wings I think we've probably ever seen, but like there are certain championships where I'm like, yo, like it's pretty cool.
Try and ask a NASCAR driver not to make contact. It's just not.
Let's go back to the hot take. Like, is it an excuse though, like for people that can't make the move?
I think rubbing is racing is an excuse made by people who can't overtake. But I don't think it's exclusive to people who can't overtake. Yeah. In the same way that, you know,
if gap car,
every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. Do you know what I mean?
You've absolutely lost me.
Do you get what I mean? Come on, you're an engineer. So like, one thing means one thing, but this thing doesn't necessarily mean this thing. Do you get what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be Friday, it's fine. Back to school for you. It's a good thing you're an actor.
I think it's the same thing as like the center quote is used all the time.
Absolutely.
I think it's for good and I think it's for bad. Like sometimes like last lap people just go for it and then there's like contact and whatnot. It's like, well, listen, like if there's a gap, like I'm gonna go for it. I think it's also the same. I think 9 times out of 10, if a driver can pull off a clean move, they will. If there is a little bit of rubbing, it's rubbing's racing. I think it's like people just want to lean on it whenever they want to lean on it. Like they can call on it whenever they want. If it suits them, then it suits them. But then it's like if you flip it in the reverse, if someone sends it on you and then they say rubbing is racing, it's like, well, no, it's not. And it's like, yo, you can't pick and choose.
Have both,
Like. Yeah, I think it's very driver dependent and sometimes discipline dependent. We could talk about it all day, to be fair. We could honestly, it's one of those ones you could just, there's like chicken and egg.
There's so many clips from the Glen where like turn 1, 2, 3, like the GTPs, they're touching the whole way. And then there was a situation where they're going through lap traffic. There was two GTs, LMP2, and then the GTPs going through. And the smallest of touches, he moved over on the Ferrari and the whole door ripped off the suspension.
That's where
contact can have, you know, detrimental effects, but it's part of.
There just needs to be a bit of a margin, I think, just to say, like you see in karting, you know, a little bit of argy-bargy. It's fine, as long as no one getting pushed off the road or anything's dangerous. It just gives you that margin, and I think it looks really good anyway. So, on the fence?
Very on the fence.
We're going to say
very on the fence.
Cool.
Very on the fence.
Last one comes from Crofton Woodhatch. Now, Crofton Woodhatch was a honorary Drive Lounge driver through the British Sim Racing Cup. He was an ally. He was one of the guys. However, I don't like you very much because he has just come in to my story and he said front wheel drive is better than rear wheel drive.
I can't wait to hear what he says.
And I am not having that.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I like driving front wheel drive in real life, right? Like I had a Mini Cooper S 2014 Badman car, yeah? Like sick car, JCW, if you know, you know. I really loved that car. Yeah. Like I enjoyed that car to the max. But I think not, you can tell me more about this, but my driving style, I like a car that's gonna like do a little bit of something. Like I need a little bit of excitement. It could also be a skill issue. From my side, it could also be a skill issue. I'm not gonna say that I would be insane in a front wheel drive car because I really don't know if I could. Like the things that your drivers do are incredible, like genuinely incredible. But absolutely not.
No, I don't think better than.
No, not better than at all.
Plus, there's if it goes out sideways, you just
talk steer out of it.
Talk steer out of it. It's less skill, less fine margins to deal with.
Nah, it doesn't. Yeah, no, it's not that. No,
he's gone.
Sorry. No, it's not that.
He's gone.
Yeah. Better's crazy.
Better's crazy.
That's absolutely getting deeper.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't like a front wheel drive car. In the sim, at the very least, I have a front wheel drive car. It's great. I do like it. Yeah. Probably because I've not driven it around a circuit or on the limit. Maybe that's sort of why I tend to like it a bit more. I do see the difference in how you have to drive it. Part of the reason I think I would say that is because the majority of your sim racing career is done in a rear wheel drive car. Like very rarely do you get an opportunity, unless you pursue it, to drive a front wheel drive car. Yeah. Like in iRacing, TCRs are very small, Clio Cup is very small, and because of the pay barrier, you're not going to pursue it unless you know you enjoy it or anything like that. Yeah. So the accessibility in that sense, I think a lot of drivers don't understand what it takes to drive a front wheel drive car. But also, I've done both. And I did the TCRs at Thruxton for BSRC. Awful. It's just a painstaking experience. Like, first of all, fair enough, Thruxton's a fun circuit and everything, but you're just always understeering. You're always having to be so mindful of the fact that any small margin and you're gone. You've lost 4 tenths like that.
Yeah, the feedback is really strange from how the tyre unloads on the front. It's like always on the edge.
Like, just give the front tyres a break. They're having to turn and absorb all of the braking and still accelerate the car. I just don't think, and especially when obviously inertia pulls them up as well. Like you've got no grip on power ever. You're just going to constantly be understeering. And I'm not a driver. I like a stable car. I like the Merc. I like the Aston, which has a lot of front and is maybe a little bit more stable than a rear engine.
I'm just laughing about how passionate.
I know, it's crazy.
We need to debunk this properly.
We need to, Crofton, mate. You don't know what you're talking about.
I think I need to try it. And again, it ties into how great this place is. Like I need to, I've got the Sims here. I'll have some time after my shift. I'll jump in. I'll give it a go. Next time on the podcast, I'll give you my.
We're coming back to this. 50 years since James Hunt. Now I do like Rush. It's a guilty pleasure. It's one of the best racing movies of all time. 50 years since James Hunt won the 1976 Formula One World Championship in the M23. Now we do have that at Drive Lounge. So if you do want to come down, you want to celebrate, you want to give it a go, emulate your heroes, definitely do that down here at Drive Lounge with our amazing spec simulators. We're going to jump in a moment and give it a go. Just such an incredible achievement, and what a character as well James Hunt was for the sport. Like obviously tragic how everything played out for him in the end, but that rivalry with Niki Lauda and I guess the contrast in their two personalities, which we see obviously through Rush, but it's just a huge personality and 50 years as well.
Wow, yeah, but it goes to show like how much Formula One history means a lot to us motorsport fans, and with sim racing we can also try and emulate that challenge that they used to have back in the day. Oh my days! What? Oh no!